Welcome to the very first episode of a Twitch series I am calling JavaScript Girl in a .NET World. My name is Alyssa Nicoll, and here today to help me with my first episode into the .NET world is the beautiful Sam Basu.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited. So I have an Angular background, for those of you who don't know me, and I've kind of always been on the JavaScript side of life. And I work with this incredible team that has products all over the space, like not only the JavaScript space with like React and Vue and jQuery and Angular, but all over the .NET space. And so over the last 3 years, I've been learning more and more about that ecosystem. And I finally couldn't take it anymore. I have to try it. And so I have been warned that it might not be my thing because like I've only ever used a Mac, right? I'm over here trying to like copy paste with the Alt key. It's not happy. So we're gonna try it, and I'm gonna learn about. Hey Ivana, good to see you in the chat. We're gonna learn about all things .NET, and I am just starting this off with WinUI because I don't know why. I just like caught my eye. And Sam was like, "Who is making you do this?" I'm like, "No one. I promise. Like it's just me."
I think I've told you this before, but I think it's incredibly brave of you because in a way, like these ecosystems, like they are like beasts in their own way. Like I dare not go into the Angular space because I know so little. I know it's going to be a big learning curve. Going
from like a Mac to a PC and then going from like Visual Studio Code to like Visual Studio, because that's what you told me. I don't know. That's like one of my first questions was like, wait, are there like if you do desktop dev, can you not use Visual Studio Code? Is that a thing? So there's a lot to learning.
Yeah. So kudos to you, especially the .NET world. Like it can look like a little bit of old boys clubs, and many of us are old who've been doing .NET for a while. So we welcome you with open arms, and glad you are here, JavaScript girl, literally in the .NET world.
So today we have a hard stop at the top of the hour. So we're only doing a 1 hour episode. Next week, I will be back with Ed Charbonneau learning Blazor. And then the third week in our series, I will be having Jeff Fritz on to kind of talk more about the ecosystem options and then maybe even more into Blazor. So, but for me, again, I don't know why, but for some reason, WinUI has won a special place in my heart. I keep hearing about it, and I'm like, I need to do this. And so, please welcome to my journey. It might be messy. I'm okay with it. Hopefully, you're okay with it too. Yeah. So Sam's gonna help me out, get started, and then after today's episode, I'm gonna keep going and see what I can continue to make on desktop like apps with WinUI. So yes, I want to share this in the chat. Oh no, bot command. Oh, I think there's a bot that's running and it shouldn't be running. So if you want to just like ignore the bots for this moment in our life.
Eva can go shut it down. Okay. Eva is good with bots. We don't know. Like Eva could be a bot.
The Ivana bot. All right. So here is, if you're like me and you're like, WinUI, what's this? This is the starter guide that the beautiful Sam sent over to me. And it was like right away, just like right out of the gate, like number 2 on the starter guide that I was like, I'm stuck. So let me share my screen. And I didn't know.
Let's back up a little bit as well. Yes. Yeah, and go ahead and share your screen and we'll see what you got.
Okay, so this is the Visual Studio. Yes, this is the Visual Studio. And I don't actually have any idea how to make this window bigger. Hold on. Oh, I figured it out. Okay.
Oh, so you're not sharing your entire desktop, or maybe just a part of it?
I'm just sharing Visual Studio for now. I can share the whole thing if you want, though. We might get
help to have a browser in there as well.
Okay, let's see. How do I stop that and then share that? And then wait a minute. There was 2 share buttons. Are you able to share 2 windows at once? Hang on, I've got to try this. Share video. Oh, no. You can share a video and a screen. Okay, so we'll share the whole screen and you'll see picture in picture for a second. And I'm not able to see comments, so Sam will shout them out. But this is
Okay, so
This
first
is the
things.
starter guide,
Yeah.
and this is number 2, where I was like, so
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure when I go and I do this create a new project, there's like nothing when you search for
let's
WinUI.
start. Okay, first thing is going to bother me. If you can hit that little hide button at the bottom, Alyssa, please.
Where?
I'm OCD about these little
This?
things. Yep.
Oh,
Just so that goes away. Okay, so let's back up a step. And so you have been using Macs, which is I'm on a Mac all the time doing
Yeah.
.NET Dev.
yeah.
It's just the muscle memory between when you switch OSs that kind of messes you up sometimes. But you have a new PC. Can you tell me what it is? Is it a laptop? Is it a desktop?
It's a desktop. Can I show you it? Hang on.
No. Can you?
I'm going to show you it.
All right.
I know this is dumb, but I literally don't know what to tell you about it other than there it is.
Okay.
And then here's my
RGB light
keyboard,
going on.
and it's all like
Nice.
lighted and funny.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it is capable of running obviously what we're doing right now, but then it's also capable of running VR, because I wanted to stream VR and be able to share that to the desktop, and so that was one of the requirements when looking for a PC. So
good stuff. Okay, so first thing is you are running Windows. So I'm going to post a link here,
and I downloaded Slack and Chrome. I'm pretty much like
you're doing good.
Figured everything out. Like
yeah, you did. Okay, first thing is go to your Windows menu, and let's figure out what Windows version you're running in the first place.
Windows this?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? Settings?
Right click, or you can go into settings and system.
Version. What am I looking at?
About like the actual version of Windows you're running, like Windows 10. Okay, hold on. So
is this helpful?
Device name. Oh, you got an i7. That's nice. 16 gigs RAM. That's not bad. Okay, so Windows 10 Pro and the OS build right there. You see that when you scroll down? Yep. So 19041. Okay. Now go ahead and open up the link that I just dropped in chat, because that's in our chat. Yeah. No, not the private chat, just the Twitch chat, if you have it open. Or maybe not.
Twitch chat. Okay, so I can show it. Can you drop it in private, actually?
Yeah.
Because I can't click on links in our chat, but I can click on links in this one.
Well, I'll actually open up a new browser or just another tab, and we can just kind of get to it. Search for WinUI 3.
So WinUI, I thought WinUI was new. And you're saying there's 3 of them now?
Complications. Yeah. All right. So go in the first one.
Look at this. Dark themes now available. Turn on firmware. Sorry, I'm really distractible. Okay.
Right. And right where it says release notes, that's where you're on. Go to the develop node on the left. You see, like it says Windows UI Library 3 release notes, develop, and then on the first one. Yep, that's where we're going to start. Okay, so before you start, since you asked about WinUI 3, so this might be like, bear with me, I bear with an old man for like 30 seconds.
No, this is going to be like the juicy details that everybody's been waiting for.
Okay, so what you're doing is building a desktop application with some technologies that have a long history. So we go back to 2006 timeframe when we first saw Microsoft introduce what is called Xaml, which is a markup language. It is no different from XML, and Ed gets mad when we say it. It's HTML is also XML in a way, right? So it was just you were about to say something.
I was just wondering, I feel like I've used XAML before. Is that possible or not outside of?
Maybe. I mean, you have been tinkering a little bit, and sometimes
but you would only use it in a Windowsy environment. You don't use XAML in like JavaScript or.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But you could use XAML to build iOS or Android apps, but mostly it's from the Windows stack. So that's where it started. So back in 2006 is when it started, and we had a thing called Windows Presentation Framework or Foundation. That was the first time I used XAML, a language. Hey, Curious Drive, good to see you. So it evolved quickly. XAML is a lightweight markup language. So yes, it is a language to describe the visual tree of your UI, which is similar to an HTML visual tree. So that's where we started back in 2006.
Okay.
Makes sense?
And this was used for everything like
No,
Windowsy?
this was used for desktop first.
Just desktop. Okay.
Yeah. And then it started evolving. It has rich tooling inside of Visual Studio. It has a nice ecosystem with lots of help from the community, from folks like us. So there is a lot of help in terms of how you write your code. So you're writing XAML as the markup that describes the UI, and then you're writing C# that makes things change in the UI. You change the objects that you've rendered or you're about to render. You can actually do the whole thing in C# in code if you wanted to.
Okay.
But most people actually start out with the visual tree that they describe in XAML, and then they manipulate that XAML with C#. So hence
Now,
the C# and
back
XAML
in the
code
day,
base.
or now, if you're just like, hey, I'm gonna go build with XAML, is there like a developer tools that you can see live to like inspect XAML elements?
Yep.
There is. What is that
Absolutely.
called?
Well, again, long history. It used to be called XAML Preview, or the latest iteration is actually called XAML Hot Reload. So essentially, it'll like a what it sounds like. It's a reload. So it just only changes the part of the visual tree that you have touched and only renders that part. So it's kind of like a component model for the web as well. So we started with WPF back in 2006. Then Windows 8 came out, Windows 10 came out, and there was a desire to make those XAML-ish apps run on every device. Hence the term Universal Windows Platform, or in short, UWP. Have you heard this term?
You lost me. I've heard of this term, but you totally went real fast there. So people were like, Windows 10 exists. I want to do desktop development. Why is XAML bad at this point?
No, it's not bad. It's still not bad. It's great. Again, like for folks like us, I should read XAML history. Okay, so the desire to take XAML elsewhere was what caused Microsoft to come out with a new stack called UWP, which is Universal Windows Platform. Right? Where's the universal? Is universal because there are other Windows devices. It's not just the desktop, right? You can have Windows in the form of a tablet. There's a tool that allows us to stay. What is the tool name? Profiler. It used to be called the Profiler. Now, again, where XAML gets a little interesting is there are different teams which adopted XAML for their own needs, like desktop first. Then UWP team, which is the Universal Windows team, they also adopted XAML as the UI stack. And they each did their slightly different thing with their XAML dialects and with these tools like profilers and previewers and hot reloads. So they've all done their little thing to kind of make XAML work for them. But UWP was the first iteration where we saw XAML apps work on things other than just a laptop or a desktop. So think about Windows running on a tablet or in a kiosk mode. Now think about Windows running on HoloLens, right? You mentioned VR. Yeah. This is kind of AR, the starting days of AR.
Well, you said that this was all as of Windows 10, but I'm running Windows 10, so it couldn't have been that long ago.
No, it's not that long ago. Silverlight, yes. So that is a good point. We did XAML back on the web as well before things were cool.
Wait, you're saying XAML was Silverlight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Silverlight was entirely based on the XAML
stack.
Shut up. Yeah. Which is actually funny if you ask. Silverlight, like the official end of support is October of this year. Beyond that, Microsoft is not going to support it formally, but then it doesn't mean that it's dying. Like the enterprises will probably keep on running it, but most people have hopefully seen the writing on the wall. History is getting longer. Yeah, sorry, Curious Drive. I'll jump into WinUI. But anyways, so we had WPF, we had Silverlight, we had UWP. Along the way, we also had Xamarin Forms, which was taking that XAML, a very different dialect of XAML actually, and making it run on iOS or Android. So XAML powers a lot of different things. Desktop. Do you know what a Surface Hub is? No. It's like a gigantic 80-inch TV that's essentially a big Surface laptop. It has like cameras and speakers. You can brainstorm. You can draw things on it. It's great for Teams. So all of these XAML apps run on all of these places, right? It can run on iOS, Android, HoloLens, Surface Hub, and all of these places. But then came Windows 10, which was probably about 4 years back, maybe 4 or 5 years back. And with every Windows 10 iteration, they realized that they had to wait on Windows to get the updates.
You're
I'm
saying
just getting
Windows
friends with
10
them.
has multiple iterations? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Why is
You're
it in
running.
Windows 11? I don't get it.
Well, it's a big leap going from 10 to 11, right? And we didn't have Windows 9, like 7, 8, 9. That joke still there. So we had Windows 8. We skipped 9 and then went to Windows 10.
Okay.
So Windows 11 is probably somewhere in the horizon. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where we stand, but they also wanted to separate these apps and their runtimes from the Windows operating system because they were too closely tied to Windows releasing updates before they could do stuff for Universal Windows Platform, right? So the desire to get that separated out is what led to WinUI. And WinUI 1 and 2 were actually slightly different things. They were meant to be extra controls and extra features on top of UWP. Okay. While WinUI 3, which is where you are diving into, it's a different stack because it's a full end-to-end stack that is meant to be the most modern Windows desktop development stack going forward.
Okay. Now, when you say desktop development, do you mean we can also still do the tablets and that big Surface thing that you were talking
Surface
about?
Hub?
Yes.
Yes. Some of this stuff is in preview. Because WinUI 3 is very new. They have not reached 1.0 yet. We are in 0.5, right? So you're coming in early. Some of it is still in preview, but once
what does that mean?
Ships,
so like when it's in preview, like you're able to do everything, but you have to do it more manually, or you're not able to do everything. Like what does?
No, you're able to do most of the things. So some things are in the works, and some things are. They have the little badge that says it's production ready. So go ahead and build production apps. But most things that are in preview, you're not supposed to build production apps yet. You can play around, but most enterprises in particular will wait until 1.0 before they start building production apps.
So being new to .NET and even the Windows ecosystem, I have absolutely no idea the type of turnaround that you're used to. So when you're in preview mode, I obviously don't want promises, but what would you expect before you're actually able to then have the next leap and do production apps? Like, is it a year, 2 years, 6 months? Like what?
It really depends. Like right now we are talking in what, June? Is it June? Yeah, it is June.
It's June. I was like, I don't know. I need to go look this up. Yes, it's June.
It will be 1.0, hopefully by November is what they're shooting for.
Okay, fall.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, about a year, give or take. Could be shorter sometimes.
Okay.
It means still buggy, yes. So you will have some bugs, and tooling will not be polished. It won't be done, but you can play around.
I think it's going to be less buggy than you all think it's going to be.
No, yeah,
because I have no idea what to expect. So for me, it's just going to be how it is, Like I have no expectations.
So I said 30 seconds, but we spoke for like 5 minutes on history.
No, this is what I need though, because I hear all these words and it's kind of overwhelming.
Terms. Exactly.
And when I go after this primer that you're giving me and I go and I start developing on my own, I would have found like WinUI 1 and 2 and been just like lost and probably reading the wrong docs. So,
and this is some of the kind of messaging that even like Microsoft struggles with. They have like phenomenal engineers, but since they're doing so much of churn, sometimes the messaging gets a little complicated.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're starting up greenfield, brand new stuff, don't look at WinUI 1 and 2 because those are meant to be control sets. Look at WinUI 3, which is the full stack. And WinUI 3 will actually run on, now you're getting into runtimes, but it'll run on everything UWP, which is what we talked about, but also natively on .NET. So slightly different runtimes, but essentially all Windows.
Now, you checked what Windows I was running. Yeah. Like if I'm not on 10, am I in trouble?
Yeah, you can't run WinUI 3 unless you're on 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So in fact, now bring up your desktop because I think the link that I just sent you, or maybe I didn't send you, or maybe you opened it.
That one, this one, that one. It's this one. Okay, so we've got this one.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about this one?
Yeah. So.
With the prereqs where it's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Now go up to one level where it says WinUI project template. Yep, that one. And No, actually, hang on. Let's go up to the project reunion thing, which is, I'll explain that as well. So go up
Project
to project
reunion
right there
overview.
and do get started.
Get started. Set up your
Yep,
dev
set up.
environment.
Yep. So right there, you see that verify that you meet the minimum OS, Windows 10, 18, or 9. So if you have anything prior to that, you can't do this stuff. Make sense?
Yeah. So I just keep seeing this verbiage Visual Studio 2019 everywhere, which is kind of weird to me because like what happens when like 2020 comes out or whatever the next one is? Like, do you have to download a new thing? Won't it just update this app?
Yeah, no, it'll update, but most likely it'll be a new thing, and they can reside side by side, no problems.
Okay.
The next thing is actually VS 2022, which is already in the works.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Remember my problem that I told you about whenever I was walking through and it was like non-existent.
Okay. So you have VS 2019 here. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
all right. Now,
yeah.
on that web page, scroll down. Just the web page on the left. Scroll down. They have a thing. Okay. So these workloads, you did some of this stuff. Like you have. When you install Visual Studio, it asks you like you're trying to do desktop development.
Yeah, Ed was there when
boxes,
I installed it, and he did some checking, and I assume he checked all the things. So,
all right. So it'll be a big download, but it's like you're all set. All right.
So, the nugget.
No. So, folks, Alyssa calls it nuggets.
I love it.
Hilarious.
I like. I think it's so like it's just so fun. Nougat, yeah, sure, but nugget that just makes people happy when they're working. We should all switch. That's all I'm saying about it. Okay, so I did do this setup, but I still don't have WinUI access.
Yeah, before you go on, I'm just noticing the chat here. Some Antics Dev, hey, you rated us. Thank you.
Hi.
Lots of love. Thank you very much. Welcome, Raiders. We are just getting started with WinUI, and Alyssa is being very brave as a JavaScript Angular girl to step into .NET.
A JavaScript Angular Mac user. So on a PC, gonna have to forgive the rough go of it. But I'm so excited about this Twitch series. I'm gonna be diving into all things .NET. But today, Sam is showing me the wonderful world of WinUI and how to get started.
Yeah, and the next two folks that you have who are like near and dear to my heart, Jeff Fritz and Ed Charbonneau, they're both web guys. So this is my one opportunity to win you over with desktop.
Wait. So win UI me over?
Yeah, win you with WinUI. Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, Copper Beardy. Okay, so scroll down a little bit further. They talk about right there
Project Reunion extension.
extension.
So Project Reunion, is this like a demo project? What's going on with that?
No, it is just meant to get you more confused. It confuses everybody as well in the Windows world. Okay, so here's the thing. Back up one step. We talked about different ways in which you can build for Windows apps. So there is Windows Forms, which we didn't talk about because that is not using XAML. We have WPF, we have UWP, we have, Xamarin Forms can also do desktop development. So you have multiple ways of targeting Windows. But if you get down to the core of how do you use some of the Windows APIs, like if you needed Win with UI and me over. Yeah,
I know. I was reading the chat. They're cracking me up. I had to switch back over so I could see your pretty faces. But anyways, keep going, Sam. Tell me more.
So if you had to do like file system access, or if you need, wait, are we still up?
Yes, I can be up. I just swapped it over to this thing.
No, hang on. I'm just trying to watch.
Oh, you mean like the stream?
Twitch, the stream. Yeah, I think we're up. It just like.
We're having some trouble. Interesting.
Interesting. What's going on?
Control.
Yeah, this could be on their end because we're fine.
Are we fine? Are we? Can you all see? We're streaming to YouTube as well. So if you're in the chat and you're from and you're seeing us, let us know. Let us know. Okay, so Curious said we're here. You're back. Okay. That was weird.
Yeah, we're back. Something went on with Twitch, maybe. Yeah,
I think Twitch had a hiccup, but hopefully we're solid now, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So we have multiple ways of using Windows or running apps on Windows, and each ecosystem did their own little thing as to how they repeat, please, the idea of the project reunion. Yes, Mona, I'm getting to it. So if you are using the file system, for example, from WinForms, or you're using the file system from WPF or Xamarin Forms.
When you say things like this, I'm like, what? Okay. The file system, like when I'm on a Mac and I've got like Finder and then I've got like my file system, that's all I know about file systems.
Same. That's all I'm talking about. Like, let's say your app is running, you want to read a file from the user's hard drive.
Yes.
Yeah. So file system, or think about it as any API that you want to use that is Windows specific, right?
Okay.
So each stack had their own little way of using that API. Make sense? Since multiple stacks. So now Project Reunion is meant to bring it all together.
Oh, that sounds daunting.
It is daunting. So when you are using any Windows API from WinForms or WPF or Xamarin Forms or any other future stack, WinUI 3, you should not write code that looks different. It should be the same C# code that gets you whatever Windows API access you need. So it is a big effort actually for them.
So I need to download this Project Reunion so that I can go and get started on WinUI. But do I like click buttons and then download through Chrome, or do I do some secret thing in Visual Studio to get it?
Secret thing. So bring your desktop back up, and this is what gets folks a little confused. So as of this point, so you can completely forget about Project Reunion. Okay, I said that just to explain, because you don't need that. It is for folks who have been doing Windows Dev for a while you are starting afresh on WinUI 3. So just focus on WinUI 3. It just so happens that right now they're releasing WinUI 3 and Project Reunion together.
I see.
And
okay.
Keep going until 1.0 is hit. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do it one of two ways, but in Visual Studio, you can you get out so you can just see Visual Studio?
Yeah, I can. I can do that.
So hit back. Yeah, hit back. And okay, continue without code.
Where are you seeing that?
Right under Get Started.
Sneaky.
All right, now go into Extensions, which is a menu up top. And look for online, look for Project Reunion in the search box.
Project Reunion. Is this the right search box? Cannot start a new project. Okay, I don't.
Okay,
I wasn't trying to start a new project. I have to kill it?
Yeah.
Why?
This sounds harsh, but
I think I should have just not pressed enter.
Okay, so let me welcome you to the Windows world, saying almost every one of your problems is solved by killing Visual Studio, and if needed, killing Windows and rebooting back up.
I think it was because I pressed the enter button. Look, I found it.
Maybe. There you go. You found it. Okay. Go ahead and download that. Now, in there, you see that there's a preview and there's a regular one. Get the stable one. Yeah,
this one.
The preview is for the future.
Because preview always means not stable?
Mostly.
Okay, cool. So I got that, but now can I do the WinUI? This one? It's
no, not yet. It's saying, hey, I'm doing stuff, so you have to close Visual Studio and bring it back up.
Oh, God.
So hit that close and then kill Visual Studio.
Ooh.
Robert Staples is here.
Do you want to? Yes. Oh, God, I'm scared. Are we all scared? I don't know what's happening. Modify or cancel?
Yes. No, modify. It's trying to install the extension.
Okay. End tasks? No. Cancel? No. Just leave it?
Yep, just leave it.
This is so peculiar. I've never seen such a thing. Who is this VIX installer? VSIX.
This code is doing scary stuff. This is actually very brave of you to just kind of jump in and do like the latest bleeding edge stuff.
I'm so excited. Okay, so I don't think we're going to have time. So I need to like book you for 3 episodes from now so that we can do, because I wanted to have time to not only start up a project with WinUI, which I'm going to do and I'm going to keep working on, but then I wanted to add in our stuff because we apparently have some goodies, right?
Yes. So Ed is here.
Ed is here? Where?
Telling us, but just don't tell Ed that it takes us like 3 episodes to even get to a point where you can run a desktop application. It's fine. We'll take it slow.
Yeah,
look,
but
Ed,
just wait. Wait. I'm going to have so many questions for him. He's not even going to get a single line of Blazor written.
This is one better. I have actually installed Visual Studio while I was on a stream. So you're just installing an extension. You're fine.
Okay. So after
I
this
think,
extension, does this, you said this does include WinUI, or I need to go and
yes.
download WinUI
No,
separately?
that's it. So it's done.
Okay.
So what it did for you is you actually just do Blazor. Hey, we can do Blazor inside of WinUI. In fact, Alyssa might be interested in that because like it has.
Well, next week is Blazor.
Latest, yeah.
Next week's Blazor too, but then I wouldn't mind mixing and matching. But maybe once I got the hang of like what each one actually is, it's doing a spinning thing. Do I like? Is that like a beach ball?
No, it's done. So what that extension did was install some bits of Project Reunion, so you know exactly what you're doing in terms of APIs, and also it gave you some extra things. So now you search for WinUI, and there it is. You see that?
There's
the
so
first,
many.
In fact, the second. Let's see, WinUI desktop. I think the first and the second are about the same. Yeah, just pick.
This one's C#, this one's C++. Which one?
Oh, no. Then don't do C++.
Don't, because we hate C++?
No. But C++ is a little hardcore. Yeah, it'll take me kind of some time to kind of sit down and understand C++ code. It's old. That's how I got started, but you don't need to.
Made. I don't know where to put it. I usually have like a development folder, but I don't have one right now. Can we make that real quick?
Yeah.
I don't understand what source is or repos. Did it make that for me?
Yeah. It just by default, Visual Studio likes to keep it there.
Okay, well then we'll leave their default, and I can just groove with it. What does it want from me?
Curious Drive is saying C++ makes your mind melt.
Really? Is it that bad? I always imagined it was just like.
You just need to like sit down with a big like iced tea and just settle down. Take your time.
Wait, Sam, was that a big iced tea? Like, was that what we're
maybe a spiked iced tea?
A spiked iced tea.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me what I'm looking at, please?
All right. So you're looking at. I'm reading the chat room here.
What are they saying? Well. Tell me what they're saying.
Blazor apparently is for mature audiences only, because it's apparently a mature stack. So yeah, Mona 1984 was asking, can I use Blazor for enterprise apps? Yes, absolutely. It's good to go. Yeah. By iced tea, I do mean Long Island iced tea with a hint of whiskey in it. Anyways, so let's not get digressed. What you're looking at here.
Okay, well, first things first. Can we make the font bigger? Because I mean,
which one? Which one? The whole thing.
Okay, is there a command plus type situation?
No, that's only on Mac, and Visual Studio on Mac has some advantages. But here you'll have to go into Tools. And then bump up your font size. Yeah,
that's
options. Here? Yep, last one, options.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. Oh, I'm so excited. We're going to use Visual Studio.
And go to fonts and colors. Yep, right there. And
chicken and egg problem. Font color, this one. Oh, thank you, Jesus. You're the best, Sam. Thanks. I think that'll work. Hopefully.
Yeah, no, it still doesn't. It did, but you just don't have any code open, so it doesn't show you the code right away. Okay. So go ahead and close this overview. It's just showing you all the different things. But what you have is, yes, you want to save that. Yes, you want to save that because it just is just a package. So go ahead and save that. There's another setting for fonts too. There are multiple ways of doing things.
Okay, so whoa, look at this bar. Wow.
So since you're new to Visual Studio, on the left, and you can configure all of this to be wherever you want. On the left is going to be your code. What you're looking at, that window is called the Solution Explorer. Yes, you can drag and drop, and you can dock things.
That shows you. Oh, there it is. Is that it? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
So that will show you all the files that you have in your solution or your project, and you can have multiple projects. And then
you call it solution. We're fancy.
It's solution. It's actually just a SLN solution file that opens up all the dependencies of the project. And then on the right-hand side is what's called your properties window. So you click on any file or anything in particular, then it'll show you the corresponding properties of that thing. Yeah, okay. So it keeps changing. So right now what you're looking at here is just a boilerplate basic WinUI 3 app that is running on .NET.
Wait, like if you started up, like if I created a new Angular app and I started up, there's kind of like a default like skeleton of like with like some helpful like links to getting started with Angular and like the Angular logo. If we started this project up, would we see anything or no?
Yeah, you will. So right now, again, it's a bit of a mixed bag. You have two separate projects. You have the solution on top that says best desktop app.
Yes.
Then inside of that, you have the best desktop app ever made. And then you have another one that says package. That is kind of a temporary thing right now. That is the package, essentially, so you can create a package installer so somebody else can install this app. Eventually, when we hit 1.0, that thing is going to go away, so it'll be just one project.
Okay.
But at this point, without you running anything or without you changing anything, you should be able to run this. So up top, you see the local machine and a green arrow next to it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and fire it up.
Did it happen?
And if it blows up,
it's down here.
We'll see. It's doing stuff. You see the little arrow that says, hey, I'm building your stuff.
Yeah, we got to bump up that font too. Good Lordy. How does anyone read this stuff?
What Ed was saying is there are, look at the lovely XAML. There are multiple ways to change up the font, but here's your app.
We got a free button? Shut up.
Button.
How do we refresh? How do we refresh it? How do you refresh this?
You don't. That's it. There's nothing else in this app.
No, like if you want to refresh the view, if you're like looking at it, you can't refresh it?
No, you're actually running the app itself. What do you mean refresh the view?
Okay, sorry. Let's back up a bit. You know how you can refresh? You know how you can refresh your web page?
No, you don't do that. This is not.
You can't refresh a desktop app?
No. Well, you can refresh parts of the app if you have some services running in the background.
Okay, yeah, right. Because refresh is a web thing. I'm with you.
Yes.
No more dumb questions, Alyssa. I gotcha. Okay. We have a button. Can you please show me the code that makes the button?
Yes. But real quick, Copperbeard, he was talking about hot reload, which is essentially.
Hang on. I'm going to come over and see your faces real quick.
There you go.
Okay.
So hot reload isn't for the users to refresh your app. It's for you as you're developing to see your app updates while you're writing code.
Right. Okay. Yes, I'm with you on the HMR.
Yep. Windows apps are refreshed already. It's beautiful. See, we have a refresh built in. We don't need a refresh button.
By the way, for the font, who uses FireCode font? Oh gosh. All right, let's figure out how to make things bigger, and then I will try FireCode. Also, is she a Mac girl? The question exposed her intent. Yes. So if you are just now joining us, I am an Angular, JavaScript, and Mac user, and I just got a PC, and I'm starting a series called JavaScript Girl in a .NET World, and I'm learning WinUI today, and I'm going to keep this going, and if I can maybe make Sam promise to come on in 3 episodes so that we can do another WinUI. Yeah, is that a promise?
Yeah. Sure,
okay,
sure.
You heard it here first. He promised. So
Ed is all about Fira, and then Robert
is it Fira?
Stables. I say Fira.
Oh, God, okay.
But the operator mono with the ligatures, or how do you say ligatures? Ligatures? Okay, I said ligatures. But anyways, these are the fancy ones.
Yeah, well, I say nugget, so.
You said nuggets.
Nougat, nugget, ligature. It's all the same.
Fritz is hanging out with us. Hey, Fritz.
Hi. Fritz is going to be on in, not next week, but the week after to talk about all things .NET with me and maybe show me things in Blazor that he and Ed disagree on. I don't know. Maybe we pit them against each other. It'd be fun. But
yeah, we were talking, Fritz, this is my one opportunity, but it looks like Alyssa's going to give me a few more opportunities to win her over for desktop before you and Ed take her away.
You didn't do the pause. You didn't do the to win UI me over.
Win UI over. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Seriously though, you got to show me the code for the button. I have to know where it is. Hang on. Let me share my screen with this button and then go back over to this button. And then, so this package business you said is for when I'm sharing with other devs, which I'm really not interested in that at this point in my life. So can I just ignore it?
So,
okay, cool.
Yes. So essentially what that package folder is doing is creating what's called an MSIX, which is essentially just a one-click installer. But you don't need to care about that.
Oh my God, I found it.
You found it.
Up. Oh my God. Hang on. Let me try something. This.
So this is XAML. Exactly.
Do it. Probably there's going to be.
It is self-explanatory. It's XML, and people give me a hard time for that. See?
Is it happening? Is it running?
It's happening.
The build process down here? Scroll.
Did you fire it up? You didn't say. You didn't
my
say.
My button already in use. Hold. I can figure this out.
No, you can't give it the same name. You have to change the name.
Change the name.
Yep, just that. So it is literally a visual tree. You cannot have two things that are named the same. It gets confused because then you might want to refer to that button by
like
calling
so
it my button.
It's like an ID in CSS where you're like
Exactly. So it won't know which one to do. It's our button, comrade.
Again, I gotta find out more. Hang on. So we've got this button. It's got a name. It's like an ID. It has to be unique. This is a click event, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
Where is it though?
That's a secret. That is the big secret. Okay. Main window. You see that little little arrow thing right next to it? Yeah, there's a CS file. So that is called a code behind file for the old school people like us. Now, you don't have to do this, but this is a great space to start. But
what? You're saying I shouldn't be in this file because I was going to...
You're fine here. Hang on one second.
So
waiting
excited.
November to come myself, C#, 10, .NET MAUI, and Blazor. Yeah, Mona, a lot of things are going to happen in November. So what the chat room is suggesting is going forward, you're going to have .NET kind of be in sync with, the Visual Studio updates and the C# updates. So come November, you're going to have C# 10. You're going to have .NET MAUI. You're going to have WinUI 3. So it's a really mature stack.
Oh, so you're saying you want to teach me MAUI too?
Of course. Of course. You're already kind of halfway there with WinUI. So those are called all the properties that your My button has. So you can do whatever, kind of like CSS. No, you don't do 10 pixels like that. It is.
What is it? What's the unit?
It is within quotes.
I mean, can you just say that again with like slower? What?
It's within quotes, like just the way like the clicked thing is. That's the content's a string essentially, or it might not.
You want me to do this?
Okay, hover over actual height and see.
Oh yeah, let's check it out.
Okay, it is a double, so no, it's not a string. I'm sorry. So just do a 20 out of 30 number.
You just want a number with nothing on it.
Yep. No, nothing like PX.
Okay, so would this actually change its height?
Yeah, but why is Visual Studio barking at you? What's the screen in red? Hover over that.
Or should I hover over the tool thingy?
Yeah. Oh no! You're trying to assign a read-only property. Okay, so Ed is right. There are lots of things here in XAML which we have built up for ourselves. Yeah, just assign the height property. So on a simple thing like the height, we have multiple things. So we have the height, we have the actual height, we have the requested height, we have multiple types of heights. It's whatever the parent container will give you, some of that height. Unlike HTML, XAML tags are completely different. No, they're not different. No,
I changed the height of a button. I did it! Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Think of what we could build.
Exactly. See, it's just like aha moment. You're able to see things on screen and you're able to manipulate objects and UI components through code.
Let's talk about why there's so many things injected here that aren't apparently being used. Why are they here?
You can wipe them all out.
Okay.
They're here because we have history in .NET. We have been doing stuff, and Visual Studio or WinUI thinks that you're going to need all of this stuff. So it's just preemptively wanting to help you out.
Okay. So tell me about namespaces and sealed partial classes.
Where do we start? Now you're really scratching at the history. Okay. Namespaces. So go back to your XAML file. So back when XAML started, which was back in WPF, Control R plus G, yeah, girl. Okay.
Make it happen. I can't go with the doing and the clicking. It's not happening. I can't get out of this file.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, you can. And also, you see the little zooming thing. So you can like right under the code, there's 100%. You can zoom in more on your code itself. So right where, right there. Yep, exactly. So you can just zoom in. Yep, there you go. Okay, so a namespace is essentially a way for XAML to identify what UI components you are about to render, where is it running, and what does it know on the system on which it's running. So that's a lot to take in. So
where it's running and what system it's running on? Is that what you said?
Just so you don't confuse system elements with your own elements. So think of it like an identifier, right? So the very first one that you see is XML namespace. XML namespace is essentially as XML namespace, right? It's a XAML namespace. The first one will always be there. That's kind of where it started, like back in 2006. Like, remember I said WPF started in 2006. So that first namespace is always there for any XAML.
Are you talking about the Blend 28, 2008?
No. 3 lines up, 2006 XAML presentation.
Yeah.
That's
this is like SVG. You have to specify namespace in SVG. No, not like SVG. Okay.
No? Okay, so I don't know enough about SVG. So
okay. Okay.
But
so you're saying this one always has to be
that's
here,
almost
but these
always there in
these are
no
optional?
matter what XAML you're using. Some of the other things depend on the framework that you're running this on. This one being a WinUI app, it has the WinFX, and it is trying to use Blend if you need it to. It's also using like a compatibility thing. Now, none of this really matter to your code. Your code essentially starts from stack panel, right? But if you, for example, wanted to bring in like Telerik UI, we might use a different namespace. Or if you want,
who's stack panel? I'm not seeing that anywhere on this page.
Like right where your code starts after the window tag ends.
Oh, this? What is that?
Right there. Okay, so that is
that like from like we didn't make that, so that's provided
it
for
was
you?
there. It was there. Isn't it for DTD? So design time is what you mean, Mona, I think. But yeah, there are lots of aspects, and I can look up a nice link here. But I mean, it'll take us some time to go into the basics of XAML. But Ed is pointing out it's kind of like Flexbox. That's the stack panel. But essentially, so forget about namespace. You're not going to need that right now.
So it's like an element.
It is. So
wait, is a namespace the same thing as an element?
No. So whatever is before that stack panel, forget about that for now. You don't need that. Once you start doing fancier things, you have your own custom controls. Maybe you bring in like a Telerik control. That's when you'll see we will stick in something in that top paragraph where we define all the namespaces. Otherwise, you don't need to worry
this window, like let's say I wanted to on our app, I wanted to have like I don't know, a card component or something show up along with my button. I'm assuming when it says window here, it's talking about this, or is it?
No, the whole window. Okay, so this is where we get into what Ed is talking about. So, and the container in which you're running depends a little bit on what type of app it is, right? This one being a WinUI 3 app, your topmost container is a window, which is essentially the thing that holds your entire view. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you were doing this on Xamarin Forms, then instead of a window, you will say page, because essentially a mobile app is a collection of pages. So it's like the topmost container that holds your stuff.
Okay.
Inside of it, you have what's called the content or the layout type controls. These are the things that essentially give you a structure to put your stuff in it. Make sense?
And so you'd say that stack panel is a layout type control?
It absolutely is. Okay. So is a grid.
Can you show it to me in the docs so I know how to find?
Yeah, go look up.
How do you?
Let's see.
This one. Is this the wrong docs? Should I just Google WinUI?
No. This is where you will end up. So what you're asking is kind of very basic XAML. I'm not sure if they have it here, which I think they might.
I am confusing WinUI and XAML. Crap.
WinUI does use XAML. No.
Where is the WinUI in this? Is it not here? Where does the WinUI happen?
It is happening automatically. So the stack panel, this is all XAML, but the fact that you have window up there, and your runtime is like you started with the WinUI 3 project, means that you're running inside of that Windows shell. So that you have a WinUI app.
So as I'm creating a WinUI app, I'm going to be not necessarily browsing WinUI docs, but I'll be browsing XAML docs because this is for XAML developers in this WinUI environment.
Yes. So let me see.
I hope I got that right.
I'm trying.
I'm going to come over here and check check out the chat and make sure I'm not really hurting anybody's feelings. Window is like HTML head. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get you like the most. See, almost all of like XAML.
Ed said, "Wait until you find out there's 4 versions of XAML."
There's more. There's more. We
what are we using by default? Where would we find that? Like, is there like a package JSON where you can see like what versions you're on?
No, it's implicit because we expect people to know what they're doing. No, it's yeah. So
that's not a good expectation.
Right. Okay. There's Silverlight XAML as well. Okay, so like remember how I said different teams did different things with XAML. So no one team at XAML is not like an open standard that is like the same everywhere. So each team was able to do XAML in their own way. So they have their own dialect, right? So there is a WPF XAML, there is a UWP XAML, and WinUI XAML. Now, these are essentially very, very similar, right? This is what is like collectively called Windows XAML. Yeah, no, it's for the same whole place of people. But like Xamarin Forms, does WinForms belong to WinUI 3? No. WinForms does not actually use XAML Mona 994. It uses its own way of rendering the visual tree. So these things are all Windows XAML. If you started up a new WPF app, your code will not look much different. It's about the same.
So Quad 20 Soy said kind of like Angular versions, but I feel like it's not like Angular versions unless you're talking about pre-2 and after 2. Or is it like, because you're saying there's similarities, but nobody's going to like mix and match the XAMLs. I guess you're not mix and matching Angular versions either, but you can upgrade between them, and you can't really upgrade between like from WPF to UWP, right? Like it's not a...
It's not the same thing, and it's complicated. But yeah, you normally don't like go from one to another.
So when I am like, hey, I'm making this desktop app, I want to run it, I want to share it with the world, I need to look up the WinUI version of XAML, like to like be able to know like my building blocks and how to form.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to look up. I think the WinUI 3 docs should have, and it's the same XAML as any other Windows XAML. I'm trying to see what they have here.
Fuel asked, any MFC developers here? What's MFC?
Oh boy, I won't be able to explain this right. So Full Schnabel, help me out here. Complicated. Ed probably knows about MFC as well.
Curious Drive said his relationship with XAML is it's complicated. And then Fuel said that he's just trolling you. Oh, someone said that it's Microsoft Foundation classes.
Yep.
For C++ UI development. I feel like there's a lot of hate for the C++ people, and like that's something I should learn how to do.
No. So if you know how to do C++, you can get down to a very low level and get super performance. All of this is kind of a shim, because when you ran that app, it actually took your code, compiled it down into an intermediate language, and then it gave it down to the Windows operating system to run your app. You can get much closer down to the metal if you're doing C++.
So remember when we were picking what WinUI version or like type of starter project we wanted, and one was C# and one was C++. So you're saying if we had chosen the C++ route, my under the cover file, whatever you called it, that's like .cs would not look like that?
It'll look different, but
it would look different. Okay.
Yeah, and you will get access to some more base classes that you can use from C++, and maybe the WinUI template isn't the best for that. Like to Ed's point, like a lot of people use C++ to do some hardcore things like gaming engines, or like where you want like down to a millisecond performance. Some of this is a lot of like CRUD on top of this. So I haven't looked at the WinUI 3 C++ template, but it might have some of the same runtimes and some of the abstractions already there for you.
Yeah. Oh, UHF with Scott said the code behind. That was the word I was looking for. When you say code behind, are you talking about all CSS .cs files.
Okay, now go back to your Visual Studio for a second, because I do want to mention something, and then
Studio.
I mean, look, we have almost spent an hour just getting set up, which is good.
I love it. This is exactly what I wanted.
Foundations in.
I need a primer into this world. Are you seeing it? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
awesome.
I see it. Okay, so when you have main window, okay, so you still actually have the app running. So go ahead and hit that little red square thing, so it stops. Yep, you have the profiler running. So you see that app.xaml. Open up app.xaml first, not the manifest. App.xaml. Yep.
This one or this one?
No, just app.xaml. Double click. Yep. So this is where
dictionaries. That's fun.
Yeah. So this is your app's starting point, right? So when it's compiled and your OS is trying to run the app, this is the first file it reads to say, hey, what are the things I need to run your app?
And so like your here, root file that like
sort of. Sort of like what's the first thing that your web site, like a web application, would read? One of the first files that your
like the at least in an Angular app, I'm assuming would be your app.root file that kind of points to everything else. So this has what's weird is that we've got namespaces.
Yeah, it's still a XAML file, which is why it has namespaces. But this is your spot to declare anything that is global.
Once you that's what I was thinking is like I would have thought once you have like this one declared globally or whatever, you don't need to do it first. Like
you shouldn't have to, but the reason why every XAML file repeats it because you might want to change it, have a granular control over every one of those namespaces, and that could be different in every file. So this is the place where it starts, and this is also a place for you to have like global, like any dictionaries, any styles, anything that you want to use all throughout your app. Now look at app.xaml.cs.
This is this one.
That is how your application is getting bootstrapped. Like it's reading that and saying, hey, that's my namespace. Here are all the namespaces that I don't use. And then you have the first partial class, and it's of the type application. So you are creating an app, and when it says initialize component, that's the first line.
Oh, cool. So hang on, we've got a namespace, which is our application's namespace, and then a partial class, which is kind of weird. That like, could I delete that and it still work? No, it's going to be unhappy with me. Okay, cool. So a partial class of app, and then is this like whenever app initializes, this thing runs?
Yeah, that's the kind of constructor for that app.
Okay,
so the first line of code.
And then down
and then
here,
it does a bunch of things like on launch or other event handlers.
Yes. And then private window. Is this providing the, what is this? Explain.
I think that one is giving you the handle to the window, like the very first window that is the container for drawing the very first window, which is going to be your main window.xaml.
So this is like whenever our app class initializes, we are calling this initialize component. Where the flip is that?
It's not there. It's system code. It's whatever it needs to. Oh. Yeah. No, you don't see that.
I thought this was like it was like written right here, and we just modify it. Oh, I see.
And at any point, you can right click and you can go like show definition. Can you right click on initialize component? Probably not.
Do you see show? Did I not do it right? Quick actions, rename, remove.
Maybe it's not showing on your screen. Yeah. Oh, there you go. So that is what you're seeing, and that since it's showing you like it's showing you an app.g.ics type file. So that is an internal file for it to be compiled into, and how the system calls in to initialize your project. So this is not your code.
I see. Okay, cool. We got rated, y'all.
Yeah. So
look at that little Slack Windows pop up. That's cute.
Who was that? Oh, hey, Jay.
Hi. Hello, I need to go over here to this and say hello to the raiders. And Sam doesn't like it when his face is that big. Hi, raiders. Welcome. We are actually wrapping up really, really shortly. But I'm so glad that you're here. Today is my very first day entering the .NET world. I'm starting this series called JavaScript Girl in a .NET World. And today I learned about getting started with WinUI, and I'm really excited to make my first desktop application. Sam has promised, I'm trying to figure out which side of the screen you are, to come on my show again and keep diving down this road of Legensdorf. Did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
I totally probably said that wrong.
Let's do a couple more fun things before we do. Because I want to get you a little excited before the Blazor folks come in and take you away.
Right. So what he's referring to is next week I will be on with Ed Charbonneau, same time, same bat channel, to learn about Blazor, make my first Blazor app. And then the week after that, Jeff Fritz will be on teaching me more about the .NET ecosystem and Blazor as well. So I think right now Sam is trying to win me over to WinUI. So the desktop life.
So just to comment on a couple of things in the chat room, Mona84 is right in saying XML namespaces are for document type definitions. And Ed was asking, why are they, like if you go bring up your code, like the namespaces are always pointing to a thing, which is a URI. It actually doesn't mean anything. It's not going off to that link to download anything. It's just an identifier to mean like that is the syntax we are using. That is the type of document we are writing. That is the type of XAML we are writing. So Mona984, correct me if I'm wrong, but you see that XML namespace is always an HTTP, like it's a URI. It doesn't mean anything. Like it's just a endpoint to the definition of that thing.
Yes, I Aztec was saying Blazor and then C# Fritz. Yes, I'm super pumped for this series. I've been for a long time kind of watching the .NET, my friends in the .NET world from the outside, kind of like a creeper, like outside the window. Like, please, can I know what you're doing? So this is very exciting for me.
Can I come in? I've just been watching through the window.
No, what is the barrier to entry?
No, it's very brave of you.
All right, so tell me, because yes, after this, I'm definitely going to look up some. I probably, and I don't even know if this is a thing, would just Google like to do app WinUI tutorial. And then like build a to do app, because like that's like everybody has a to do app, right? But maybe there's a better place to start. Or
okay, so back to just kind of us understanding what's going on. So app XAML is where it starts. That's your starting point of the XAML markup that it reads. App.xaml.cs is the initial code to bootstrap your app. And then main window.xaml is where it starts, right? That's the first window that is completely custom where you get to do your thing, right? So you asked about the code behind files. Normally, when you're looking at main Windows XAML, if you want to switch to main Windows XAML, you had that button that you were clicking on. So that's your markup. This is your visual tree. And then when you had the click event handlers, those were in that code behind file, in the .cs file. It's by convention XAML, and then XAML.cs is the code behind.
By the way that you keep talking about code behind files, though, it makes it sound like you're not supposed to be in them. Is it okay to write code in them and to use them?
It absolutely is. And I'm going to get some hate for this, but it is a great place to start. So,
is it not? Are you not supposed to use them?
So the purists, people who no, hear me out. Stay with me. So folks who run enterprise apps, which huge code bases that are C# and XAML, this gets a little like out of control. Like you can imagine if this was a complicated piece of UI with a window with 1,000 controls in it, each one with its own event handler, each one with a function to manipulate something about the UI. This file essentially is going to be 5,000 lines long, right?
Yeah.
And becomes untestable. So it is a good practice to start aligning to some patterns that work well. And one of the patterns that works really well is what's called Mvvm, which is model, view model. Right now, you don't have any of that, and you don't care. But folks will tell you that if you keep writing more and more code in your code behind, it starts getting a little out of control. That's when you have the segregation principles. So you separate things out, your code from your UI. So kind of separate ways of doing things.
Could you give me a quick example? So like we have this code behind file that we are changing the button's content and the height. Now in the MVVC world, are you saying we wouldn't do this in this file? We would create another file to do these kind of things in and then link it in, or what would change, or nothing would change yet?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. If it's just a plain property, like a height property that you're wanting to change, you can do it in XAML as well. Like go back to your XAML, and that height property, you can write it right in the XAML itself. It has
so would
a
it be
height
like
right there.
X height.
No,
like
you
that?
don't need X. X is just for the name. It's just height. It's just called height. Yeah. Now, Visual Studio will help you out if you let it, because it
I'm
didn't
supposed
like
to
the
let.
height. Yeah. So put a space in between before you start typing. There you go. Now it can help you out. So simple properties like this, it can stay in the XAML, but definitely even handlers. People don't like putting the even handlers right in there because that click even handler is very closely tied to your UI. It's hard to test. That's when you will have separate things like navigation patterns. And when you click on the event, you can raise an event, and that event handler can live on a different file. So it's just not in the code behind. And then you have aggregates that kind of bubble up that event, so you know how to handle things from a common place, and you can control navigation between the two.
Yeah. So this is controlling the height of the button visually initially.
Yep.
But if you wanted like on button click, you still have to do it back here. And
Right.
then you're saying we might eventually split this event handler out to its own file.
Out to somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's
again,
gonna be so fun. Let's do
this
that.
is fine.
The next time I wanna like I'm gonna beef this up with some extra things, but the next time I'd like to move things out and look at what that was. It Mvvm? Was that what you said?
Mvvm. Yeah.
What that looks like.
Let me get you a little excited. This is just to get started. So you can keep building on this project, but go back to the web page where we had the docs, where we can light it up with so much more UI, so you can see all of the UI that's kind of light up.
Sharing everything, share it and the docs. I think it was this one, or was it this one?
Yeah, it was this one. So we had the thing. Now go to Windows UI library on the left. Windows UI library. Go to stay on Windows UI library 3.
This
Yep,
one.
3. Yep, develop. All right. Go to the second one. Okay, and scroll down. Let me see. They have a sample app that you can actually just clone from GitHub, and it has all the UI that you can play around with. Keep scrolling down. I'm trying to remember where they have it here. They don't have it there, do they?
Ooh, with C++. That's what we were talking about earlier. Fancy. I'm going to scroll faster. Localizing your WinUI desktop app. Known issues. Build basics. Maybe getting started. Ooh, yeah, that's the button we have. Although ours does not have that border. Rude. Application project. Full trust desktop application. No. Getting started for UWP apps. I don't think that applies to me. Template XAML controls. Ooh. Boo, 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 boo. But I would be in the C# world, apparently. Create a blank app.
I'm trying to find you a
update the custom one, define the
gallery control that does all of it.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Yeah, that's what we were doing.
You're starting to have fun with your CSS type-ish thing, isn't you?
I am so excited, and I'm probably going to do it wrong, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm really pumped to add things to this application. Correction, I guess HTML with XML and S is then XML. That is a lot of acronyms in one sentence. I'm just going to be real honest with you.
All right, hang on. Where is
and then Fuel said, when I was a pro WPF dev, I thought code behind was an anti-pattern. Now I have turned to the dark side and generate WPF UI in an Elmish kind of way. Oh my gosh, you're one of those people, Fuel. We got to talk. I was approached. I was at a DevOps conference of all places, and someone came up to me after my talk, and I had made it very clear that I was like a UI front end girl, and they were like, "Have you heard the good news about Elm?" And I was like, "The tree?" Like it did not go. The conversation went downhill from there. So that is
there are lots of these patterns that that help. So we're actually getting inspired by Elm in a way to do like MVU, model view update, kind of get rid of all of the drama that Mvvm sometimes brings in, and just
oh my gosh, there's drama.
There's drama. Okay, let's do one quick thing. Go back to your Windows and just go to your Start menu and bring up your App Store. Let's see. Hopefully you're logged in.
So that was a
We'll
lot of
find out.
steps, and I'm trying to follow just one of them. So I'm gonna,
Okay.
I'm gonna
your
share
desktop.
my desktop and
Share
then
your
go
desktop.
to what?
Minimize this, and then click on the Windows Start icon on the left, very corner, the white Windows icon, way down.
This?
Right there. Yep.
Oh.
And go to the Microsoft Store, which is one of your tiles there, I see.
I think I can just type it in. Microsoft.
Yeah, you can do it. Yep.
Store Microsoft. Sorry, this is probably really painful for everyone to watch, and this is how I live.
Okay, now you have like 37 downloads waiting for you, but search for.
How do you know this? Where are you seeing that?
Right
oh, I see it.
37.
I don't even know what it wants. Can I search for WinUI? Is that what you want?
Yes, that one. So go ahead and the first one.
This.
Go ahead and install. Yep, install that.
How do? Oh, I click on it.
Click on it.
There was no click indicator. It was just there. Get.
Yep.
Is it happening?
It's happening.
What is ESRB?
Install a rating system. Like
weird.
How mature it is. It's not mature enough for Blazor. That kind of thing. Okay, so what you're installing here is just a sample app, but it'll show you all of the UI that is baked into WinUI 3. Right, so and right there you can hit launch. So now instead of a button, you're going to see a very, very polished UI. So look at that, and you can interact with.
Wait. This is made with WinUI.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Shut up. How can I peek under its covers?
You have to get the source code.
Ah!
It's also on GitHub. You can get the source code.
It's on GitHub. Okay.
Yeah. But this is a good app to kind of click through on stuff on the left and see all types of apps or UI that is kind of built in for you, and you can have some fun with it.
Oh, there will be fun. Fun will be had. I'm so excited.
I can see that you found your CSS and your colors.
Yeah, I'm not a front-end person. What do you want?
And somebody had actually mentioned in the chat room that you can actually style things with CSS. Xaml does welcome CSS. It's not for everybody, but if you wanted to,
wait. Would CSS. People be angry? Would they riot in the streets?
No, it's just not like most people don't like it. I don't mind it. Hey, if you have a web app and
for real, Sam, you're like, I've got to make this web app tomorrow. That's a form and it submits to this thing and it's got to be done tomorrow. Not a web app, sorry, desktop app.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use CSS?
No.
Okay. There you go. That's my answer. Then I'm not going to. There you go.
Like especially, and you just have to bring in some things. Shaders are going to be CSS. Yeah. Like XAML actually makes it a little easier to bring in CSS, but most XAML devs don't because we have things like XAML styles and layouts, which are fine for what they do, and you have all the control. Like with CSS, like everything that you can do. Maybe not all the things in CSS, but you can do.
That is a really big assumption, Ed, because I love pineapple.
I love it too.
So that's not helping the analogy. You got to pick something that nobody likes.
Stop the hate. Oh, fish on pizza. Some people like fish on their pizza. Mm-hmm. Like the ones.
Okay, the anchovies, but not like, let's put like something weird like cod on pizza. Then people are going to be like, what are you doing? Like, no.
Yeah. But so at this point, like after an hour, you have the basics, you have the tools, you have the
I'm so excited. Thank you. Because whenever you sent me that, Sam sent me this like how to get started with WinUI. And I was like, okay, install Visual Studio in 2019. Got it. And then it was like, now start a project with WinUI. And I was like, it's not, it won't happen. And so that it was so horrible. It was like step number 2, I was lost. So I'm really, really excited to have something running just so that I can go and find a tutorial and follow through. But yes, next week, same time, same bat channel, I will be on with Ed Charbonneau, and he will be talking about all things Blazor and kind of hopefully giving me the as good of a primer as Sam did for just the desktop world. So that way I can kind of bring.
You set a high bar.
Yeah, I mean, it is a high bar. I'm going to be real honest. If you missed the first half of this show and you're like curious about .NET development at all, or maybe even the history of things, it was a beautiful primer and I loved it. And I appreciate you so much, Sam. I know you have to go, so we will wrap.
Thank you. Well, I have to go get snack to the kiddo, which, I mean, a hangry kid, you don't want that.
No, hangry,
no. Here's a fun idea. Since you're getting started here with WinUI, which is actually a great place to start, because I will have things to learn from you because I don't deal with some of the intricacies of WinUI all the time. But what if we built an app that you do in WinUI, I'll do it in Maui, and we'll kind of learn along the way. Okay.
Yay! And then you'll teach me Maui too.
Yeah. Along the way, we'll do it in Maui, and actually Maui will use WinUI. So what you're building, I will get to use a lot of that to reach the Windows desktop because Maui runs on iOS or Android and Mac as well. YouTube is where this will be. So let's have a little
and
fun
Twitch,
over the next few months.
Aren't our recordings on Twitch as well?
But they disappear after like a week or so.
Oh, okay, right. So
YouTube
both, but only for a week. Yeah, YouTube. But yes, I am so excited. I love that plan. We should probably talk and figure out what kind of app we're building, because I was just gonna start putting really fun, beautiful elements into it, and it was gonna be more kind of like a Frankenstein. So maybe we should have a plan, or maybe not. I don't know. But I'm really excited. I think the next time,
because you mentioned a to-do app, that's fun to kind of get your feet wet.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Okay, but wait, this next time, should we have a Maui show, or should we do WinUI part 2?
Let's still do WinUI 2, because you are kind of getting the hang of things. Let's still build it in WinUI, and then we'll take it to Maui, and we can maybe throw a challenge.
I've never loved a plan more. Thank you. This is perfect.
We can throw a challenge to Ed and Jeff to kind of have you do the same thing in Blazor, maybe.
Yes, although I hear Blazor's scary, so.
No, it's not. And then we can just take what they built in Blazor and shove it in our Maui app, because that works. Blazor Hybrid is meant to bring your Blazor code into Maui.
I just realized they said tube channel. It's Progress Telerik.
Telerik. Just search for Telerik.
Telerik on the tubes. Telerik YouTube. I'm just doing it for you. There it is. Awesome. And hey, there I am.
Yeah. Ed is saying he's going to be done in 15 minutes, so you won't have anything for 45 minutes.
No, but Ed, you have to remember, I need the history of Blazor, where it came from, and I have to start the app from scratch myself on my machine, which might not have everything I need to have on it, so you got to be a little scared. Okay, that's all.
Ed is phenomenal in just starting up something from scratch and getting quite a bit.
You're saying that's his wheelhouse. He's got it.
Yeah, he's got that.
Not scared. Oh yeah, thank you, Ivana, for throwing that in. The recordings will be on here, and I will be streaming to YouTube and Twitch next week and the following weeks. So tune in to see our .NET journey. And thank you all so much for all of your kindness. I don't know if we want to raid anybody, if there's anybody going right now, but Sam, I know you need to drop, so you drop and I'll do the raid.
Yeah, go.
Thank you so much, and I will see you in a couple episodes, man.
All right, thank you.
Bye. So yes, Ivana, I don't know if there's anybody we should raid or chat if you're like, let's raid this channel and give them some love. But I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I know I wasn't able to see the chat the whole time, but this is a journey that I've been so anxious to get started. I really do have a lot of friends in the .NET world for some reason, and I've only ever known Angular and just the JavaScript side of life. So this is just so exciting for me, and I cannot wait to build my first desktop app and then learn about Blazor. So yes, I can't see anyone. Oh, well, no worries. Thank you for checking for me. But yes, tune in next week on Tuesdays. I'll be doing this show, and we'll talk about Blazor next time and see how difficult it is to learn. So have a wonderful Tuesday, everyone. Mwah!